Uh, it's magic hour, but it's not that magical tonight. Big stimulus checks are magical because they're coming to millions of Americans. 2023 stimulus checks. And tonight's broadcast is back on location, live on air from the original location, which started it all back in 2020. We are back on air in the original outside live location. If you missed this when it airs live, it's going to rebroadcast tonight as well. 2023 stimulus checks are coming to millions of Americans, and there's stimulus checks for you, SSI, stimulus checks for you, SSDI, stimulus checks for you, railroad benefits of veterans. These are incredible stimulus checks, and they are for anyone who makes less than 75,000 2022 checks. One at a time. We're going to go everything you need to know about these stimulus checks. We're going to go, and I'm excited you're here with me tonight. Again, this is live edition of Evenings LA for big stimulus checks for 2023. The reason why 2023 has so much stimulus is because the combination of 3 years of stimulus checks 2020, 2021, and 2022 stimulus started here on set in 2020, and that's why I'm bringing it back to basics tonight, back on air live on the original set. Um, and it's just really incredible. So many things that were important in 2020 are important right now for stimulus in 2023. One, in 2020, I was on the set and people said, "How do I get it?" I taught them how to get it. It wasn't coming to anyone automatically. You had to do it to get it. And it was a massive amount of stimulus, hundreds and $200,000 and $300,000 of stimulus. It was for you, but if you didn't do it, you didn't get it. Same situation today. Just as in 2020, when I sat here, ladies year recession. These are stimulus checks for you. Anyone who made 75,000 less last year, they're for you. They're massive amount of stimulus checks. Anyone as a married couple that made 150,000 less last year, these are for you. So let's go over some of the details of these stimulus checks. A to C, E to K, L to Q. And you know how much I care about you. I'm doing this all off of memory tonight. Stimulus checks A to C are huge, and these were passed by Joseph Biden. These were passed by Joseph Biden in 2022 by executive action, and they're absolutely incredible. Back in 2022, in spring, I was the only American financial broadcast to record that the U.S. economy is going into a recession. And American viewers that watched me at the time said, if that's true, LA, find me big darn stimulus checks because a 2 year recession is not a 6 month lockdown. And that day, Joe Biden passed a lot of executive actions, and those became stimulus checks A, B, and C. These incredible stimulus checks are the first three in tonight's recording. Again, the eligibility. You, if you are on SSI, stimulus checks. You, SSDI, stimulus checks. You, SSA, stimulus checks. You, if you're low income, stimulus checks for you. These are incredible stimulus checks, A, B, and C. Then came Congress. Congress came along just a few weeks later and passed more checks, E through K. We're going to go over all these incredible checks in this broadcast. Then I found you more checks, L and M, N and O, P and Q, and finally stimulus check R. Next up, unemployment stimulus, then PBT stimulus, all tonight, all in this big broadcast, back on air in the original location in which it started and across the board. Why are we back on location today? We're back on location to bring it back to basics. Number one, the way stimulus started was you had to do something. Lazy people showed up around 2021 and learned about a $600 check. This ain't a 6 month lockdown. This is a 2 year recession. $600 is not going to pay for the eggs. It's not going to pay for the lobster shorts either. You need 2 years of stimulus checks. In this broadcast, I have on average for you, 18 months of stimulus checks. $3,000 a month, 5 checks per month. They're absolutely incredible. We're going to go over all these incredible checks. Hey, Dragon, how you doing? Thank you for joining me on this big broadcast. It's handheld, so there's no ability for me to give out the message and say, hey, come on in. But we're back on location where we started it all. Again, these are big stimulus checks for 2023, a combination of 3 years of stimulus checks, 2021, and 2022. Number two, you got to do it. All those lazy darn people that everyone really disdains, hates them. Everyone hates these lazy people. They're people that talk about $600 check they got one time. Great, you got a $600 check. Ain't going to cut a 2 year recession. When I was on set here, I went through hundreds of questions on air in 2020 about how to get hundreds of thousands of dollars of stimulus checks. And those people wanted to know every detail about how to get hundreds of thousands of dollars of stimulus checks. I didn't have any stimulus check at the time under $5,000. I didn't have any stimulus. And these are huge, huge monster stimulus checks. $18,000 a month, 5 checks per month. Great for you. These are stimulus checks for you, SSI, stimulus checks for you, SSDI, SSA, railroad benefits, veterans, low Anyone who's employed and fired, W-2. Anyone who has children, PBT. Heating up this broadcast as well. It's a great brand new night, and if you're missing this broadcast when it's on air live, it's going to also replay across the board on the channel. Now, so far we've done A, B, and C. Then came Congress. They passed some beautiful stimulus checks E through K in the month of March last year. More checks, L and M, N and O, and P and Q. Paid off by not the pandemic recession. We're going to go over the unemployment stimulus and then PEBT stimulus tonight as well. So with that, let's go over all the incredible details, starting with check A, B, and C. Check A, B, and C, 2023 stimulus check. Check A, $6,500 to $12,000 yesterday across the board. So let's go over to those check A, $6,500 to $12,000. These are stimulus checks for you, SSI, stimulus checks for you, SSDI, stimulus checks for you, veterans benefits, $6,500 to $12,000. How do I get it? Step one, you go in this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino, VIP. This is LA, #1 for this in America. Been doing this since 2020 on this original set back in 2020. $25 million gotten by Americans by watching this channel. I care so much about you. Then you're going to do stimulus check B. Stimulus check B is a great stimulus. It's in the membership newsletter. Why is B so good? On average. How do you get it? You go on this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, and go down stimulus checks for you, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, the combination of 2023, 2022, 2021, and 2020 stimulus. Next up is stimulus check C. Dragons in live chat. She's got a lot of it. She's gotten over $170,000 as a member to all 3 channels. Stimulus check C in the membership newsletter tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it for rent, utilities, mortgage, and assistance, and more. 12 different places, so make sure you reach out to all 12 places to get those incredible stimulus checks. And the sky is really gray. No magic hour tonight, but it's gray. It's very overcast, but it's not raining, at least not yet. Stimulus check C is huge. Viewers are getting big sums of money for stimulus check C. A niece who was at 23,000, she went to 50,000. Lynn Glenn just recently, I'm joking, if there's a wild pheasant in your dragon compared to a lobster, I don't know the difference. I don't even know what a wild pheasant looks like. You can tell I'm a city kid. All right, let's continue those incredible stimulus check C's. So Lorraine was 105,000, then she went to 155,000. And those are the beautiful stimulus checks A, B, and C. How do you get them? You go on this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Then go to the membership newsletter and get those incredible stimulus checks A, B, and C. 18 months, 5 checks per month, $3,000 across the board. Now, before we continue into stimulus checks E through K from Congress and L to Q from me, and the stimulus check R, brand new, the unemployment stimulus, and other stimulus checks for SSI and SSDI, let's go over that membership newsletter. The membership newsletter is huge. How do I do this for you? Well, I care so much about you, and you care to be informed so well, and you're doing a great job, that the membership newsletter is now easier than ever before. You go around this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, and at the top of the chat, the pinned comment, and under the description of the video, there is the link to the newsletter. The newsletter is now a website. So you can go into this video and become a member, and then instantly go into that newsletter. That's huge. You don't have to wait for this at all. The newsletters are news.lalate.com/newsletter. And what's incredible about this across the board is that that newsletter is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Wow. You don't have to wait for stimulus. Now, back in 2022, when viewers heard me predict a recession, 2-year recession, in spring of 2022, I predicted it, they said, well, if that's the case, do some things for me. Like, first, give me some stimulus, make broad eligibility, and make it easy to get. I got it, but I made it even easier to get with the brand new newsletter website. The newsletter website makes it quicker, easier, and instant for you to apply for stimulus. Originally, you had to wait till Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time via the alerts, YouTube, and to get these incredible stimulus checks across the board. Now you don't have to wait anymore. You go around this video, become a member, and then go right into that newsletter. Where is it? The link to which is at the top of the chat, the pinned comment, and the description of the video. Again, news.lalate.com/newsletter. Click the link and get those checks. They're that easy. That incredible easy. We're going to go over more about this incredible newsletter in a few minutes, but reconnect due to connectivity issues and reconnected. And Congress came around and did more stimulus checks, and those are absolutely wonderful. And those are stimulus checks E through K. E through K. E through K has stimulus checks for the car, for the appliances, L and M, N and O, and P and Q. These incredible stimulus checks continue across the board. $100,000 on average of loan industry money. M is an $8,000 grant. N is free internet, brand new tablet, brand new computer, brand new laptop. You want a brand new tablet for the new year? Of course you would. You can go on location like I am as well right now, although this is handheld, not with a tablet. Outside! What's important to understand about... I'm outside! And what's important about... Outside! And what's important about this is that this incredible amount of money is $1 because I found you more checks. Again, A, B, and C were from Joe Biden. E through K were from me, from the Congress. L to Q from me. But there's problems going on with this economy, and one of the problems is people getting laid off. But there's problems going on with this economy, and one of the problems is people getting laid off. Employment stimulus. Election back in 2020, so we're back on air with unemployment stimulus. Tonight we have more unemployment layoffs. We're going to record it. We're going to have in the second half of this recording. It's big. Unemployment stimulus, very important. So let's go over the details of it. First, it's tens of thousands of dollars for many Americans. Second, are you outside? I am outside. How are you, Angie? Thank you for joining me. It's huge. It's a lot amount of money. I can't believe I'm outside on the original 2020 set and doing unemployment back on, baby. Let's do the details of it right now. Unemployment pays you as a W-2 employee for what happened after you were fired. So in this example, let's assume you were a W-2 employee in September, fired, and then October 1st, happened thereafter. Well, luckily for you, got another job in January 2023. Can you still get unemployment? Yes, for October, November. This live, as Angie said. Are you outside? I'm outside. Those incredible 2020 statement, that incredible 2020 is coming on right back because broadcast news is going to tell you about all these firings, all these layoffs, all these hiring freezes. They ain't going to get you any money. I am. I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So the way you do it is 2 steps. Step 1, get the claim approved, and step 2, ask for checks. Let's do the claim first. First, how do you get the claim approved? You want to go to your state's Department of Unemployment. As a W-2 fired employee, you're entitled to unemployment. So first, you're going to file the claim. It's going to ask you 3 questions of step 1. Question number 1 on step 1. What date were you fired? October 1st in this example. Pretty easy. Then it's going to ask you, are you willing to work? Yes. Able to work? Yes. Done. Willing to work is a mental question. Able to work is a physical question. So simple. Claim is approved. But that doesn't give you money. No. Now you have to go ask for weekly checks. Certified for benefits. I remember I was like, wait a second. I got my claim approved by watching you. Thank you for doing unemployment again, LA. Are you outside, Angie? Yeah, I'm outside. Dragon and Angie. King Reno said, I got my claim approved. I watched you outside, LA, as Angie and Dragon watch me outside and everyone else right now. And if you're in the chat, send me a nice message. I'll give you a shout out on air. I'm live on air. The show air later as well on replay. But what's important to understand is that King Reno did not know you asked for weekly benefits. This is step 2. So on step 2, you say, I want to check for each week. Reconnect. There we reconnect. In this example, in October 1st, you were unemployed January, February, to you will be those 12 weeks of stimulus. Yeah. I was not live outside of Detroit. Problems with the connectivity. Just keep on staying with me. The show will air. It will air later tonight. You're frozen. I know. I'm doing funny circles only on. No, the connectivity is. I didn't test the connectivity before I went on air, which I guess I should have. I didn't test the connectivity before I went on air, so it's it has frozen up about 4 times on me. The good news is the show is going to air right again right away. So I'm going to re-air the show as soon as the live show ends, and then we're going to tell Anne how she wasn't there. And we're going to tell Bob Bacon how. So 20 that said, "Can you get me more business money?" I just remember many of them, and now we can. Now I can. And it's based upon what you did in 2019, 20, and 2021. And it's an ungodly amount of money. It's an ungodly amount of money. It's stimulus check R. It's in the newsletter, stimulus check R. It's the employee retention tax credit, and it looks like it's wearing sunglasses. The employee tax retention credit is an enormous amount of money. How much is it? If you had an employee in 2019, kept them on staff in 2020, kept them on staff in 3 quarters of 2021, you are getting $26,000. It's the tree. Tree looks like sunglasses. Which tree looks like sunglasses? There's a tree looks. There's so much to look at. I mean, that's the beauty of being on location outside is all thing to look at. And I didn't really prep the set at all. I didn't prep the set at all. The out of frame set is a little bit different. That's why I'm hand holding. I would prefer I was not hand holding this, but oh, it looks like the tree's wearing. I think someone said that back in 2020. Someone said in 2020 it looks like the tree's wearing sunglasses. It looks like a holy tree. Okay, shit. Just ignore me and talk about the holy tree and it's wearing sunglasses behind me. Did you see that? That's the fun about being on location because there's always some strange sound and there's helicopters and there was a riot. There was a riot when I did one show on air location. God, what else happened? Oh, there was a fly that came right in my face. It's going to church. So that's the fun about being on location. There's always some strange stuff. So you can imagine $26,000 per employee you kept on staff from 2019, 2020, and 2021. Just huge. Really huge. So that's the employee tax retention credit. If you had 10 employees on staff in 2019, you kept them on staff in 2020 and 2021, that is $260,000. 10 employees, 260,000. 20 employees, it's $500,000. $500,000. I mean, this is insane. This is an insane amount of money. What's important for 2023 stimulus is what you're seeing right now is that it's like a clearing of the mess. It's like we're getting rid of the old junk. Oh boy, did I just say use that word? Well, okay. It's like getting rid of that old junk. What is that old junk? The lazy people that only know about the stupid mini tiny check of 5 cents they got in 2021. If that's all you know about, then maybe you should learn a little bit more. Maybe you should learn a little bit more. Your hair looks great. Oh, thank you. If all you know about is a $600 check and people are getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, don't you realize you're doing something wrong? And they've been getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for years, and you're just talking about a $600 check that comes automatically to your bank account. And I haven't heard on my local news, I haven't heard in the paper, I haven't heard, my viewers are getting 18 months of stimulus checks. 3 checks per month, $5,000 across the board, happening all the time. In this broadcast, we're doing all of these incredible stimulus checks. So go right in this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Castillo VIP, and then go into that membership newsletter. Again, that membership newsletter is news.lalate.com/newsletter. It's at the top of the chat, the pinned comment, and in the description of the video. Grab the password from the most recent post and put it right into, and you can go right into that incredible newsletter. We are on location. If you're just joining me on the original location, which the channel started in 2020. It's a handheld recording. It's a little bit different. The offset production value is a little bit different because I'm hand holding it tonight. What's all out of frame is a little bit different, but the background is the same. There's Angie and Dragon talking about the tree again. Nothing has really changed. Let's go into the latest details on the market right now. And this is usually where the commercial break would come in and we have the beautiful graphics and I get to take a little break and, order some pizza for, 60 seconds. I'll be back in 60 seconds while I order some pizza. But I'm not doing that right now. Because we're on location, there is no break when you're on location. The host has no time to breathe when you're on location. I don't even have time to grab my script out of frame. It's a little harder when you're on location. Business stimulus. All right, so let's go to the latest details today. Oh boy, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's a huge day. Tomorrow morning's LALATE Light Off on Air. Do not miss it, because what do we have tomorrow morning? Two major benchmarks for 2023 that will determine the whole start of the year. We have the CPI for December at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we have that'll come out right before I go on air, and then we have the latest unemployment numbers. Oh my goodness. So tomorrow morning, morning's on air, Thursday morning, we have the December 2022 Consumer Price Index, the CPI, which gauges inflation. And it's going to be a big one. And it's going to zip a lot of people's mouths shut, because all they've been talking about is selling the Brooklyn Bridge. If you've been watching the shows today, we have a new expression on the channel, the bridge. If you hear nonsense about this economy, about stocks, about stimulus, just say, oh, you're selling me the bridge. You're selling me the bridge, because that's nonsense. It's coming from the stock traders. The stock traders have been selling nonsense, and they've been completely under fire. We'll go more about that in a second. Actually, let's go over them right now. A new report released today is the Investors Intelligence Weekly Survey. This gauges how much bull versus bear is in the economy, not that type of bull aggressive buying or bear selling. Bulls in the weekly survey released today were up from a 36.6% last week of the market to 41.4%. You think they're listening to the stock traders? Of course they are. Bears dropped. So bears dropped from a 33.8 to a 32.9. Modest positive distances after negative counts are bullish for stocks. What is happening? Because the stock traders are selling the bridge. They're selling the Brooklyn Bridge. They're doing pure nonsense. There's going to be a recession. It starts next month. In a recession, the stocks are going to go around 30%. And that recession is going to be a 2-year recession. It's going to be unlike the 2 prior recessions that were isolated to certain groups of people. One was for tech. The other one was for savings and loan and banks and housing. This one is going to be everyone. It's going to be a 2-year recession. Jeans, less demand? Yes. A new report today has Citibank downgrading Levi's jeans. This report really worries me. I'll tell you why. Retail is one of those industries I watch really carefully. You know, housing is one thing, and, technology is another thing. But if retail is really falling apart, I want to know why. And there's 3 components to retail, in my opinion. High-end retail. Louis Vuitton, Ferrari. Mid-range retail, but very well branded. Nike. Also Levi's jeans, and then basic retail, which is, will the White House acknowledge the recession? Never. Angie, great question. Never. The White House is just, between Joe Biden and Janet Yellen, they are just all rose-colored glasses. Absolutely never, Angie. No. They'll never acknowledge the recession. They'll never acknowledge anything negative. They don't sell, well, they sort of sell the bridge. Joe Biden, what was it, November last year, said, I hate the CPI because it's what happened the prior month. Well, of course it's what happened the prior month. The CPI for the month of December is released tomorrow morning, live on air on Mornings in LA. And is Joe Biden going to hate it because it's not January's data? How would we have monthly data when today is only like the first week of January? It's the prior month, and why would you hate it? It's been the same way done for all generations, and guess what? When that CPI was good, he loved it. Yeah, that's why no one likes politicians. They don't like something when it's against them, and they love it when it's for them. So Levi Strauss dipped more than 2% before the market opened today, based upon Citigroup's Paul Lejuice downgraded the stock from buy to neutral. Why? He says the demand may not be there. What are the levels of buy ratings? Overweight, it's so good, you need to buy more of it. Buy is another one that's lower. It's good, but you should buy it, but you shouldn't overweight it. Neutral is like, I don't know. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. And long-term, great prospects. I agree. Absolutely correct. In the near term, we expect a challenging U.S. backdrop characterized by weaker pressure results. Well said. It's well said, but also worries me, because If you have a strong brand that is not a Ferrari, Ferrari's doing really well. All the high-end brands are doing really well, and they will do well even in a recession. If you have a well-branded brand like a Levi's or a Nike, and then they struggle, that worries me because what's below them? Department stores, Kohl's, Macy's, Nordstrom's. We're not all general by season. They're really going to struggle if a Levi's is struggling. Coinbase fell today after a Bank of America downgrade. The crypto platform was downgraded from underperform to neutral, and the stock fell 4%. Binance wants to rub in your face. Who's Binance? They're primarily, really. Crypto's not. Coinbase that laid off an enormous amount of its workforce. I can't remember, what was it, 20%? Does anyone remember that watched yesterday's show? I don't have that note in front of me, and obviously I'm on location, but I think it was 20% of its workforce. It was just enormous. And Binance was, hey, it's all great. It's not all great. Here's Gunlack. Jeffrey Gunlack today at the conference in New York said that, actually in a webinar today, said that he favors non-U.S. equities. That's cute. He's like, I like everything but the stuff that's here. You show up at a party. What do you have for dinner? Fish or chicken? I like everything but what you have here. That's so rude. I like everything but, the stuff that's in the United States. Just rude. Okay, here is a big another report that came out overnight, and this was the one that a lot of people's eyes have sort of popped out. The plane. It's like 2020 all over again. What was her name? Kimberly. Wasn't it Kimberly? I think it was Kimberly. Mitch is coming again at the start of the afternoon show. I actually put it in there. Watch out, LA. There was a bit where there was always a plane that would come in when I was on air and it would drown me out. And I said, there's a Mitch. He doesn't want you to know anything about this. He just doesn't like Nancy. And someone said, Mitch the bat signal says that kid in LA is on air. It's in Mar-a-Lago. I don't know. Where's that plane? Get it out of storage. So that was the plane. It's like 2020. It's all over again. What else are we missing? I think, oh, the purple shirt. Of course, the purple shirt. This is where the purple, darker purple, I liked it a lot. And people liked it a lot. And it was a fundamentally important shirt for the transition of the show because I initially recorded in a t-shirt, black, because I thought that's the only thing that looks good outside. It wasn't. Purple looked good as well because it's a dark color. And then people said, I love that shirt. And there was one viewer whose name I always forget. I should probably look back in the notes from 2020. And she says, I want that shirt. And then I wore brown outside, brown, with a green backdrop, looked purple. And they said, you're wearing purple again. I'm like, okay. It's brown, it's not purple, but I'll keep my mouth shut. And then they started referring to me as Mr. Purple. I said, you had the purple power. You had the purple power. You can do this as well. So that's where purple came from. And that's where purple power came from. Purple Hawks was a version of purple power. A hawk is someone who pounces against stimulus as soon as it becomes alive. You don't wait for it to go for a recession to hit in 2022 in February. It should be February 2023. You get as fast as possible. Purple Hawks is a combination of being a Purple Power member and pouncing like a hawk, getting as much money before the stimulus stampede comes on. So here's Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo's #1 in the mortgage business. Been that way for a while, but potentially no longer. Overnight, Wells Fargo said it's going to shrink its mortgage market as it tries to deal with the problem of higher rates in the housing market. This is all Jay Powell's fault. Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve. So because Jay Powell keeps on raising those rates, less people are getting mortgages. Even less people are refinancing the mortgage. And Wells Fargo has said there's less demand. If there's less demand, they have less business. If they have less business, they want to get out of it. So they're not leaving the mortgage business completely. They're just slimming it back. This is a big one for several reasons. Not just the housing aspect. People just talk about, it shows you the housing industry is in trouble. I'm more concerned about, what do you think I'm more concerned about in this mortgage story? If Wells Fargo's pulling back from the mortgage business and doing less mortgage rights, writing less mortgages. What do you think is I think? What do you think I'm in the back of my mind? This is one of those. What do you think I'm thinking? What do you think I'm thinking? This is the biggest impact on this economy. It's not the housing part because everyone would talk about the housing. If the biggest player in writing mortgages is doing going to do less of it, what is going to be one of the immediate direct results that is not positive for this economy because of that? If you said labor and jobs, you got it right. Because of a major player in the entire industry is trimming the fat. And hey, Lynn Glenn, how are you? Thank you for joining me tonight, live on air in the original set. And hello to Angie and Dragon in there as well. If the major player for writing mortgages for homes is slimming back, cutting back dramatically, what do you think is the major casualty of it? The major casualty would be less jobs. Less jobs, people being laid off. And this is one of the big problems. The banking industry starts getting less jobs. The banking industry also has less revenue. That's why, was it yesterday? Citibank downgraded three of the banks across the board. Hey, there's Dottie. How are you, Dottie? We are live on air, on location for a special edition of Evenings LA on location tonight on the original set. The reason we're on location in the original set tonight is to go back to the very basics, to remember about how things were done in 2020. In 2020, you had to pounce to get stimulus, and it was big stimulus. The lockdown was starting, and people didn't know how to get it. They didn't know where it was. It wasn't in the local news. It wasn't in broadcast news. And you had to do something to get it. And what was it? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. One of the most common expressions I was saying in 2020 on air, I almost said this line maybe 40 times a day, is if they offer you 25,000 and if they offer you more than 25,000, choose 24,900 so that's not collateralized. That's what we were recording in 2020. People were offered $25,000, and I said to them, "Do you want it to be collateralized?" Collateralized means if you can't pay it off, then they're going to come and take something. I said, do 24,900, 24,900, so that's not collateralized. You have no idea how many people did exactly 24,900. They didn't even do like 24,800. They did 24,900. That was the money we were talking about. We were talking about tens of thousands of dollars at the time. Today we're talking about hundreds of thousands. So it's so refreshing to be outside. It's so refreshing to be with you, Angie and Lynn and Dottie and Dragon and everyone else live on air if you're in the live chat right now. And automatic stimulus was the worst thing they ever did, says Dottie. I agree. Dottie said it really well. Automatic stimulus of absurdly small amounts of money, $600, was the worst thing they ever did, said Dottie. And everyone's agreed. Because why? Unless you really know your bills, which some people do not know their bills that well, they don't balance their bills, they don't balance their account. They just think money is money. $600 is nothing. $600 was nothing in 2020. It's nothing in 2021. It's nothing in 2022. It's nothing in 2023. It's much better now the way they have it now. Absolutely. $600 was nothing then. It's really nothing now. How many eggs, how many dozens of eggs does $600 get you? Two? I mean, $600 doesn't do anything. So it's so refreshing to be outside, to bring it back to the basics. I'm so sick and tired of people saying the same bridges. New question on this channel tonight is selling the bridge. It's called selling the Brooklyn Bridge or selling the bridge. It's pure nonsense. Here are examples of nonsense when it comes to stimulus. Number one, I haven't heard on local news. Who cares? I turned on the local news today. What were they talking about here? The traffic, the flooding, not here, in another city. I don't care what the local news says. Does anyone care what the local news says? No one cares what the local news says. They never covered the EIDL grant, the PPP. I didn't even know about it. I found about it from a friend out of Boston in 2020. Number two, let's go over other examples of selling the bridge. They're not passing. Here's one that was in the comments that it was out. I called up IRS and I asked if they're doing new 2023 stimulus checks. I'm not recording about new, sent out, passed today, written today, um, became law yesterday. I walked out the door and I came outside. It just got written as law today. No, no, no. It's a combination of 3 years of stimulus. And a lot of it's unknown, like stimulus check R, like unemployment stimulus. A lot of it's completely unknown. And there's 300 different checks, and people can lose track of all those three. Well, there's over 300 checks. You can lose track of all those incredible stimulus checks. Again, that's selling the bridge, where people says, you know what? They're not doing another $600 check. No, you're right. They're not doing another $600 check. You don't deserve one. You're lazy. They're doing the original stimulus that they always did in 2020. Let's be frank. There's been a lot of rounds of stimulus. There hasn't been 3 rounds of stimulus or 2 rounds of stimulus. There's been a lot more rounds of stimulus. We just don't number it that way. We number it a different way as well. No magic hour tonight. I would call this the horror hour. Magic hour is a terminology for great lighting, and it's horrible lighting at the moment. I dare see this video later. But, it's fun being on here with you. I'm outside back on the original set that made this channel back in 2020 because I want to go back to the basics. I want to go back to the basics. We're having a lot of fun in this live chat. There's Angie, and there's Dottie, and there's Dragon, and there's Lingland. If you're in the live chat and I haven't given you a shout out, give me a message. I'll give you a shout back, and this broadcast will air later. Let's go over some of the other breaking news we're dealing with as well. So, Wells Fargo pulling out that mortgage, slowing down the mortgage industry is going to have massive layoffs across the board. So let's go over tomorrow. CPI and inflation. Oh, Angie, thank you for the nice comment. CPI and inflation. So tomorrow morning, the Consumer Price Index for the month of December is released. It's our first inflationary report of the CPI for the new year. And get ready for the bridge. Ooh, get ready for the bridge. Let's go over some questions right now. Jump in the live chat. If I see there's several dozens of you in the live chat right now, but I've only had like 4 of you interact with me. So let's get some more interactions going on right now. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to say the number, and you say up or down. You say 1 up or 1 down. We're going to go over each of them one at a time. Here are my questions. What you're predicting for tomorrow in the December CPI report airing tomorrow live on air on this channel. Number 1, rent for 2022. Is number 1, rent going to go up or down with inflation in the latest CPI report? I'm going to say number 1, rent up. Rent, in my opinion, is going to go up in the latest inflationary report released for the CPI tomorrow mornings on air. Inflation has never shown yet rent going down. So we have an up from Dottie, an up from Angie, and an up from Dragon. That is on rent. How much has rent been going up on average month to month? About 1%. So it's a lot. I mean, that's per month. 1%. That's just huge. Huge. Ready for the next one? All right, let's do the next one. This one's easy. Let's get all of you in the live chat giving me an up or a down on this one. Ready? Here's the next question. Number 2. Groceries. Up or down? 2. Up or down? I'm going to say 2 up. Groceries. That's so darn easy. Eggflation. Eggflation. I think when I was walking outside, up from a Dragon, up from a Angie Sue, actually 2 ups from the Angie, way up, says Dragon. Wait for January rent, says Donnie. Yeah, wait for those January rent. I think when I was walking outside, I heard something about bird flu or something. They got an excuse for everything. It's just inflation on groceries. Way, way, way up, says Dottie. It's just not coming down. It's just not coming down. They have every excuse. And those grocery chains are just, oh, Lord. Let's go. Oh, one of the ones I forgot to mention on afternoons. Let's do the airlines. As if that's hard. Airflation. We did eggflation. Let's do airflation now. Munch like eggflation. It's actually, I came up with the expression, eggflation. Let's do airflation now. Airflation. Is there more airflation, or I'm a baker, says Munch. Yeah, you're feeling the eggflation. Bakeflation. You're getting bakeflation from the eggflation. Groceries are higher than when they used to be, says Lynn. Absolutely. But Munch says I'm a baker, so Monk is feeling bakeflation from eggflation. So airflation, Dottie says up. I say airflation for the airlines, way up. By the way, if anyone uses my expression, tell them it came from me. Because I've never seen anyone say it, call it airflation or eggflation except me. Airflation. I think airflation is just way up. It hasn't settled down. Did you hear the horrible today about, planes were grounded because they haven't upgraded the computer systems and they had all these outages. Come on, they make fortunes and they don't want to upgrade their their computer systems. FAA, just awful. Packaging is smaller too, says Dottie. Yeah. Have you seen ground chicken, for example, ground turkey? Like the packages are minuscule now. Is this going to get any smaller? Um, just trying to keep up with all that stuff. Says Angie. Absolutely. I saw what you said. I agree with you, Angie. So let's go to another one. Medical bills. This is an interesting one. I think it's going up. It has gone up, and it does account for inflation. Let's go over gasflation. 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 Likely down. Gasoline has gone down a lot in the last month. And here's something you need to know. Most Americans, when asked, think that there's no inflation anymore because they think inflation is gasoline prices. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but that is why you need to watch me. Because if you're interacting with someone that's telling you there's no inflation because gasoline prices are down, oh my goodness, they're going to sell you. You're going to put you. They're going to put you over Niagara Falls with that analysis. Inflation is not gasoline prices only. Gasoline is just a component of inflation. Last week, the non-farm payroll numbers were released, and wages went up, but not as much as before. So I'm expecting wageflation. But again, if one component is a little bit softer, come on, do they go to the grocery store? It says Munch. Absolutely. I mean, this is, and Munch asked that. Trust me, there's a lot of stupid people out there. There's a lot of stupid people out there that think that inflation is only gasoline prices. And it's not, people in one state. There's a lot of really ignorant people out there. We started this broadcast with the trader confidence report, and there's more bulls on this market, more positive to buy stocks now than the prior week. Nonsense, absolutely, even among smart people. And that's what's problematic across the board. Wow, what a long running time we've had tonight. So we went live on air on the original set that started the show. Maybe we'll do this more often. Maybe we'll dress it up a little bit more. Maybe we'll get some better magic hour. Oh, we have a gorgeous light above me. Oh wow. I wonder if I could capture that. Maybe I can. Maybe I'll make it the thumbnail. Uh, there's like a little, when there's a streak in the sky. I don't even know what that means. Rain is coming back to LA by Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Our final storm. Oh my God, I'll be so ecstatic. If you miss this broadcast, or if you're jumping into it late, no, we don't have sunset yet, but it's like these it looks like someone raced their motorcycle in the sky. It's quite like these sort of runs, and oh, it's a beautiful light. Maybe I'll take that as a picture and make it the thumbnail. That sounds like a good idea. So thank you for joining me. And if you missed this, this will air again. And coming up next is our live stream on Channel 1, live stream on Channel 2, and live stream on Channel 3. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful night. If you haven't become a member, go around this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Get all those incredible stimulus checks. Stimulus check A, B, and C. 18 months, $3,000 a month, 5 checks per month. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful night, and as always, stay with LA for more.